What a great Friday song right here, JP. You're having a fantastic show. We talked about Garrett Cole talking about IPAs, and we were like, let's man up and just say you're hammering beers, correct?
Yes.
A guy sent us, his name is Bruce. It's a Brucey move. Brucey Durst said, I'm hammering, and took a pic of his beer. He's hammering Labatt 50s. Dude, I didn't even know they still made those.
What are they? Like heavier
Dude,
beer?
it's just got this old school logo on it, and it's a Labatt 50, dude, with that old school vintage logo.
It's so beautiful. They're like 6%. You know, they're.
Dude,
you have to take a test.
You hammer 6 of those, and you are slurring your words.
Right.
And you're half cut.
Yes, and I think you need to have facial hair. And
mustache for sure.
Yeah,
a white mustache with, let's say, an orange tinge to it.
Labatt 50. I'm looking them up right now. I didn't know they were.
It's
the green. Okay, I know.
Beautiful
Yeah,
thing,
like
Labatt
now.
the
Okay.
white and red and green
They're
logo.
beautiful.
I don't know anybody who drinks those. Like,
Well, we do now. What's his name? Bruce?
Bruce.
Yeah,
Brucey Burst. Brucey Dust.
Brucey Dust is easing into his long weekend with some Labatt 50.
God, what a veteran move.
Yeah.
My uncles, like to a man, they did not touch one thing except Molson Export. And it was like, if you don't drink Molson Export, you are a loser.
Right. Like the gall of someone to say, do you have anything different than that? Like anything lighter? Like if you ask for a lighter beer.
Yeah. Like if
would
you showed
be
up
disgusted.
at Thanksgiving or Christmas and brought like a 12-pack of Coors Light, they would just go right in the recycling bin with the beer in it.
Wow.
Just
If
pour
you
that,
brought IPA,
pour that
you
out
might be in
completely.
a fist fight. Hey,
The
if you brought
IPA is a lifestyle, man, and I have a lot of close friends that they live the IPA lifestyle. They love it. They love talking about it.
No, and you know what they also love doing? They love ordering, like, they're like, oh, let me try, like, the bicycle spoke. And then they're like, yeah, the gardener's yellow flower.
Grasshopper.
And it's
always.
They don't even like it. They just want to say that they tried all these different ones.
That's exactly what it is, man. Like, it's all the time. Like, I get labeled because, like, a lot of my buddies around my neighborhood, they're into that. They're living that lifestyle. You know, it's the IPA life.
Yeah.
And then they look down on me because I'm like, I'll just take a, regular domestic beer, man.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
You don't
good
care.
with a
You don't
Budweiser or
care.
something.
Or
Yeah,
they'll be like,
exactly.
I went to Boston and I tried, there's this little brewery and they make this, like, silver tire. And it's like, okay, great,
The little
man.
brewery that no one's heard of is
They are so horned up
their
to talk
favorite
about
thing.
It
their
is.
favorite thing on earth. Oh, have you been there? It's a little spot in Vermont. No, I haven't.
And they will drive there to get a 12-pack and come back.
That's right. And hate it, but drink it, and then tell people that it was a life-altering experience.
It's awful stuff.
Life-altering. Yeah, Brucey Dust with the 50. Oh, man, that's such an elite drink
It's
for
aggressive.
a long weekend.
That's an aggressive. Like,
I love it. I love it. All right, Luke Willson will join us here in a moment. We got Dear Hayesy-B in about 25 minutes. Best Bets brought to you by FanDuel still to come. And we got a big one in London. We've got games throughout the week, and we got to do the Monday Nighter too, right? Because we're not going to be here on Monday night. And that is Bills-Jets. And my understanding is the schedule, I believe it's already been revealed. It's going to be Mets in the afternoon, Yankees at night, Jets a little bit later than that. I think it's like 4:08, 7:30, 8:25 kickoff. If you're a New York sports fan on Monday, that is going to be electric.
There is differing opinions on the Bills, I must say, from watching all the shows in the States and watching our guys and girls talk about football. There's literally some people that think the Bills could win the division, and there's others that think the Bills are trash.
Yeah, and it's funny how quickly that can happen, right? Like 2 weeks in a row they haven't looked great, and they've lost to teams that are better than, like, on par with them or better than them in terms of Houston and Baltimore.
Even their first 2 wins, everyone was like trash teams, and
right, Arizona,
not that good. Yeah.
Miami, wasn't. Yeah, exactly. And then Jacksonville, they blew the doors off the Jags, and now you got the Jets, but the Jets are in turmoil. Like, will they get credit if the Bills beat New York on Monday night? Do they get credit for that, or is that just supposed to happen?
You just have to wonder what kind of response they're going to get. Like with the way things went down and all the questions surrounding Aaron Rodgers and is he responsible? And now Hackett's not calling plays, and the weird dynamic that's going on. You've had one of their star wideouts, I believe, go on a radio show and say, we don't do anything cool offensively. So it's like, what kind of mess are we dealing with there?
It's dysfunction. That's what it is. It's dysfunction.
That's right.
I think they might just do it for the sake of doing it and have one of those responses. That would be my guess. I got to see where my partsy's head is at. But I don't know.
What the Wilson is cooking.
He's licking his wounds, man. Like you two were talking so much smack. You had your goofy statement. You were looking at Al's brother and I like we were just two jabronis that had no idea what we were doing.
We wanted Farhan and Naylor.
Exactly. And you know what you got? You got the champs. You woke us up. You inspired us.
What?
The Super Bowl hangover's done. We're finished. We're in the mood now. And I have a feeling by Sunday night we will be in the lead. And, Luke, quite frankly, I don't see how you're going to keep up with us.
Is that a joke?
No, it's not. It's a fact. It's a statement on the record.
Or +3.
Uh-oh. See, now his phone's not working. You might be on your own here, O. You could be on your own making picks.
Well, what was it calling? What were they calling you, though? Was it Geppetto? What were they calling you?
Geppetto Bot Farm.
The Geppetto Bot Farm.
The Geppetto Bot Farm.
Right.
That's what you guys, and now you've battled back ever since those comments.
Ever since we got called out. And listen, we deserve to be called out. We weren't in a good place. We were in a dark place.
It was miserable, man.
It was awful. It was horrendous. Yeah. We were picking loser after loser after loser. But last night we relied on Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan to get the job done. And, you know, Purdy's a guy, you know, you talk about the Bills and the way people perceive them and whether or not you're pro-Bills or anti-Bills. I feel like Brock Purdy, it's the same thing. Like, he's just such a polarizing player. Do you believe in him? Do you not believe in him?
I think that's over with, Brian.
You think it's reached the point where it should be conclusive this guy's a legit player? I agree with your assessment.
I do.
I agree with your assessment. All right, let's bring in your partner, Luke Willson. Luke, you were talking about it with Jay last night. Did you answer whether or not Brock is a top 5 quarterback, confirming that? Do you think he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL?
You know, Hayes, I think he's a top 5 guy, and I don't even think it's a conversation anymore. To me, anyone who's like, oh, no, this guy's 7, 8, 9, wherever, top 10, what game are you watching? And that's I'm not even trying to be that rude here, but you go back to last year, every meaningful stat, this guy was either 1, 2, and unlikely, but maybe 3 in for a whole season. You go this year, and the argument is always, oh, he's got so many weapons around him. It's Kyle Shanahan's system, all this nonsense. This year, you start the year, CMC, who's your touchdown guy, hasn't played a snap. Ayuk missed all camp. Kittle was hurt. Obviously, he was healthy last night. Debo got hurt a little bit. Like, he's had a revolving door of weapons, and he's still sitting here absolutely dominating. Outside of a couple interceptions, this guy has been tremendous. I don't know, when you watch Brock Purdy week in and week out and say he's not a top 5 quarterback, what do you want the man to do? Like, it's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to how many good quarterbacks, you know, and maybe we're just being too literal here with the top 5, but if you got Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, is Burrow still in the top 5? Like, do you think Purdy's better than Joe Burrow, or where do you stand on that?
Yeah.
Come on.
You do?
He might be dropping out.
Come on. There you go. Your partner jumped on that quick.
I mean, first and foremost, it's about winning football games. And I understand it's not apples to apples, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think Joe Burrow was 5-5 last year when he started, and this year he's currently 1-4. So in our last 16, Joe Burrow's record is 6-10, and we're going to compare this man to Brock Purdy. And again, it's not like you're going to sit here and say, oh, Joe Burrow has better numbers, because he doesn't. And then you can sit here and say, hey, well, he doesn't have the same weapons. Says who? And here's a question for you. Take the quarterback out of it. Who are you taking out of this combination? Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuels, or Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? Like, not me, I'm a Justin Jefferson guy, but a lot of people put Jamar Chase as the best receiver in the NFL. Again, that's not me, I'm a Jefferson guy. So I don't really quite wrap my head around it, because I wouldn't put Brandon Ayuk as a top 5 receiver in the NFL if I'm on my draft board. I think he's a great player. I think obviously Debo's a great player. But I don't get where it's like, oh, he's got all these weapons. These are great players. But he doesn't have a true number one. This year, he's at parts yesterday, he's down to his third-string running back. And it's excuses why he's not good. And I don't get it. And the idea that he's not good is because he's not flashy, and he's not a diva, and he's not like the superstar attitude we're willing to see. He looks like a guy that comes from LaSalle, Ontario, and his commercials are about Toyotas instead of Rolex watches.
Right.
And I don't think that should be appropriate of why we, judge a guy on how good he is as a player.
Yeah.
He does everything.
I think that's valid. He's also not a big guy. Like, he doesn't look like your prototypical, like, 6'4", rocket for an arm quarterback.
Very fair. But you look at the throws he still makes and some of the off-schedule stuff. I mean, the first touchdown to Kittle, I believe it was Julian Love, full-blown dive. You're half an inch away from knocking that ball down right in Kittle's arm. Like, the accuracy's there. He also processes the game. And, you think of Kyle Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan's system, et cetera. Well, it reminds me, Kyle Shanahan was the RG3 Kirk Cousins mastermind as well. And when Kirk Cousins came in as a fourth-round pick when he was playing for the Washington, I believe they were the Redskins, now the Commanders, everyone was said, okay, well, RG3 is a better player than Kirk Cousins. Well, clearly that did not pan out the way everybody thought as well. And my argument when they said it's Kyle Shanahan's system, well, why isn't Trey Lance putting up these numbers? Trey Lance is the third-string quarterback in Dallas right now? Mm-hmm. Not everyone has had success in Kyle Shanahan's system. And I get that he's a smaller guy in stature and a later draft pick, obviously Mr. Irrelevant, but it's not like they didn't have, again, a Trey Lance who you can't pick that much higher, can you? No. So I don't get this argument that he's not a top 5 guy. The guy wins. The guy puts up stats. Like, I don't know what more you can ask for from a quarterback.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks and guys who are top 5 probably of all time are in there, what do you make of what the Jets are going to be doing, and do you think they'll have a response here? Like, what do you think they'll be able to put forth against the Bills on Monday night based on, the changes and Aaron Rodgers and where he's at?
So, Noodles, it's interesting. When you have a change like this, to me it comes down to a few things, and there is somewhat of a silver lining in the short term, and that silver lining is if you're studying for, this team defensively, you're the Bills right now, you're studying for Aaron Rodgers in this offense, you've got your film guys that break them down, and they give you all sorts of stats of, hey, here's tendencies, which is what they like to do on third down, in this distance, here are their base down plays, et cetera, et cetera. And now all of a sudden you have a new play caller in there, and you lose that if you're the Bills because you don't know Todd Downing, the new play caller's tendencies. So there is a small advantage, and I want to be very clear in this, in the short term, because obviously a few games later, you're back into, being able to at least have an idea of what Todd Downing's going to try and call. And I would say the next step for the Jets is that, and Bills fans might be mad at me for this, but the Bills secondary is not very strong. So if there's a team where Aaron can kind of get back right, if you will, sling the ball around, put up some passing yards, this secondary is the team to do it against. So I don't think we'll see a huge, fall off for the Jets they can't play much worse than they have been offensively. Perhaps a little boost, but how long/sustained that'll be would be the question for me.
With Luke Willson, our TSN NFL analyst. So we got the picks. Generally, Al's brother is a guy that he comes storming in, but he's been seeing the board so well, he deserves an introduction. Okay, he doesn't have to come in through the back door. You don't have to break the glass. You can if you want, out of respect to Al's brother and his tremendous information. There it is. But when you start picking winners and you start seeing the board the way this guy's starting to see the board, I don't need him sneaking in. You don't need to be coming in bothering people. Partsy, you look amazing. You look thankful. You look smart. You look like you have 20/20 vision, and you're seeing the board very well, my friend. Very well.
You're part. You send one more video like that. You're gonna be playing a game you wish you never started. All right. So keep getting drunk with your friends and sending videos chirping us. And I swear to God, I will. You're gonna see some stuff you've never seen before.
I believe you threw up the first video of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was like week 1, the first drive of the season, and you chucked out a video.
I did. All I did though was say the player's name and make a stupid face. That's all I did.
Bang, Niner Gang.
Bang, Niner Gang, man. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The Bay Area was electric last night. All right, let's get to the picks because we got to run through a lot of them. We got another London game. Owen Wilson on the clock here. Bears laying 1.5. Bears a 1.5-point favorite in London against the Jags. Luke, where's your head at?
Partsy, you got to trust me on this one, but I'm feeling very good. We're going with Jacksonville.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
We go
Your quarterback's got to start playing better.
Bingo. And he has. He's looked better. You think of a couple weeks back, looked like an abomination against, the
Buffalo.
Bills. They came out and they played Houston very tough. I believe they lost 24-20. Trevor Lawrence cleaned it up. They get their, win last week against the Colts. This Bears team, I think, is very, very rough around the edges, especially with this beat-up offensive line. Jacksonville, I do like them in London. They obviously have been very familiar with that territory, and I think they've turned the corner. Not that they're a good football team yet, but they're not an abomination, which they were in the first 4 games. I like Trevor Lawrence to cover this bad boy. I think the Jags got a good shot to win it. I don't like Caleb Williams going to London. We're on it. We're on the Jags. I'm feeling good about it. This will stop the bleeding, and the floodgates will open. And as the Muppets like to say, the Geppetto Farm likes to say, the pendulum will swing when the Jags cover this number in London.
What are you guys laughing at? You think that's a funny pick? Is this some kind of clown show? We're here to make you laugh? What are you
Yes, it's a
laughing at?
Joe Pesci play right there, right, Al's brother?
Like that's you got foggy brain right now, Luke, and that's what that is. And you're trying to mix it up.
You guys
you're
got a layup yesterday.
Yeah, but you're going opposite George on this one. I know. There's no way you actually think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to beat one of the most vaunted defenses in the NFL right now, the Chicago Bears, which has an offense which has been getting better and better and better and better by week. Caleb Williams is looking great. He's slinging it around. They finally got DeAndre Swift involved in the running game. I like Chicago. I'm surprised it's such a short line at 1.5. The Bears have been a pretty solid team, and the Jags have not been. They've been quite horrendous.
Been a solid team.
Caleb Williams loves
they beat
London.
Carolina.
Yeah.
They beat Carolina. Now we're going to put a solid team on them?
They're 3-2, and Caleb loves London. Loves it. He's a London gentleman. He's going to love it over there. All right, so you're on the Jags, plus 1.5. All right, Al's brother, Doogie, Vince McMahon, throwing everything he can at us because we're starting to get that pendulum moving in our direction. So Doogie is throwing as many curveballs as he can. He's trying to buckle us here. Ravens, minus 6.5 at home against the Commanders. Maybe the toughest game of the year to pick. Where's your head at?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you look at what Jane Daniels has been doing the last couple of weeks. He looks great. He does. He looks fantastic, and it's such a big spread. But I don't think I want to take the bait, Hayesy-B. I don't think we could take that bait. I think Jane Daniels and the Washington Commanders are going to get a nice helping of humble pie this Thanksgiving, boys. That's what I believe is coming up here on Sunday. Look, the Ravens are one of the best teams in football.
Yes.
One of the best teams in football. They're 18-2 against rookie quarterbacks. John Harbaugh is unbelievable against rookie quarterbacks. And I was reading this quote from Roquan Smith, the linebacker, and he talked about why he thinks that is. And it's just because they do such a good job disguising defenses. That's something that this quarterback, Jane Daniels, has not yet had to face. He faced the Giants, the Bengals, the Arizona, and a beaten-up Brown squad. That is not the Ravens' defense. I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to have that nice slice of humble pie ready to go. And I think the Ravens win and win big, boys. Win big.
It's a big number. It is a big number. The Commanders have continued to prove that they look legit. Jaden Daniels has put up one of the great debuts in NFL history. Yet Vegas is baiting people clearly with this line. They're begging you to take the points. Begging you to take the points because of that. And this is a geographical rivalry, right? D.C. and Baltimore are 45 minutes away, an hour away. And I think Lamar Jackson, he had a rough start, 0-2. They've won 3 straight. I think they are chasing the Chiefs, and I think they know this is a statement game. We're laying the points. We're on Baltimore by a touchdown or more.
Hey, so you believe this?
Yes.
You feel good about that pick?
Vegas is baiting people to take the points. They're begging you to take the points with that line. Begging you.
So that's their reasoning?
Yes, it is. 18-2 Harbaugh against rookie quarterbacks in the Baltimore Ravens era. Harbaugh is going to put Daniels in a pretzel. Your boy Dan Quinn is going to be so confused he's going to have his hat on the proper direction. He's going to have the brim of his hat actually facing the field on Sunday. That's what's coming.
This is a prime example, and Partsy, obviously we've been on a bit of a cold streak here. We're only +3, which, I will like to point out that Hayes and Bott haven't been +3 in the season in over 2 years.
Or ever.
Correct. Okay. And this is why I don't panic. I don't panic because the idea that Jane Daniels, who's playing at an MVP level, doesn't come out against a subpar Baltimore defense, who outside of the Bills game has looked like absolute doo-doo on defense week in and week out, and get absolutely torched by this Jaden Daniels-led assault is ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous, and if Dan Quinn can muster up one thing, it's how to stop the run. I listened for 2 straight years as this man was the defensive coordinator of our team, walk in every Wednesday and say, stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. He's going to come out here. He's going to find a way to stop the run. They're going to make Lamar one-dimensional. I like the Ravens to find a way to win this game because Lamar is that good of an athlete. Mm-hmm. But 6.5 points is utterly ridiculous. We're +5. The pendulum has swung. I can't wait for Sunday.
I'm not going to lie, right. Parts. That game to me reeks of Baltimore by a field goal. That's what it reeks of.
Okay. Agreed.
No, that's
totally.
Fine. All right.
Totally agree.
Okay, let's move to the 4 o'clock window. Lions -3 against the Cowboys. You guys are on the clock.
Bartsy, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to have to throw to you because I'm blind with this matchup. I got a couple ideas, but I want to hear what you're thinking.
You want me to let it fly and it's got to live and stay? Okay, we're going with I'll take a pick here.
I love that.
I think the Cowboys are trash. I think they're trash. I think they're a fat guy with skinny jeans on, and it's not real, and they're trying to look like something they're not, and I don't like it. And I am loving the Lions on this pick. That's what I'm taking.
Really? You're laying the points at Dallas.
We're taking the Lions. I think the Lions are going to go into Dallas and absolutely beat the pants off of them. End of story.
Marcy, could happen, and I like the thought process here. What I think that the Lions have the best offense in the NFL right now, especially with their run game. I do get worried about Dan Campbell and his 4th down craziness or his trick plays.
You hate those plays, don't you?
As you should.
I don't understand them. At this point, I get them when they were, they're winning 3 games a year, 3-14, but like when Jared Goff is throwing a perfect game, I equate it to a pitcher in the major leagues throwing a perfect game, and we're just going to call him knuckleball in the middle of the game to see if it works or not, like it's a joke. Okay, right. I don't get the rationale behind it, but Partsy could certainly happen. The only way we get jammed with this is if the Lions defense shows up and decides to be an awful, awful unit, which they haven't been all year. They've had some good moments. The Seahawks game was a bit scary, but outside of that, the defense has been okay. So if the defense is okay or Dak throws one of his vintage turnovers, you're a genius, Partsy. I love the pick. Lock it in.
All right. You guys are on the Lions, -3. We're getting plus points at home. The Cowboys at home, Al's brother.
Cowboys at home. Dak Prescott owns this Detroit line. Dak Prescott's 5-0. He's never lost to this team. Nearly 300 yards a game. He's thrown 1 interception. That's it. 1 interception in his career through 5 games against the Lions.
Dude, it's the Cowboys. Think about that. Big picture, pro athlete thinking. Cowboys, they're trash. And they always choke their guts out. Sorry.
Here's what I'm concerned about. And I just sit back and read things. When O said it, there was a long pause from Luke Willson.
Absolutely.
Like that was
dissension in the ranks.
Like I was there, and I read that like if there was body language, there was a horse eye or something. Like kind of like, how am I going to spin this?
Absolutely,
and he goes,
man. It's
I
lumber.
don't
We're rolling
disagree.
with it. It's also
No, I
concerning when
understand.
his first comment was, could happen. Could happen. But, hey,
could
never
happen.
know.
He was basically patting you on the back and going, you know what? You're right. It could happen. But in the real world, it's going to probably go down this way.
Right.
So there is. I just sense that. Tell me I'm wrong. Like
I sense the same thing, and I love it. So we'll take the Cowboys getting plus points at
All
home.
right.
Right? They're rolling. They've won 2 in a row. They feel good.
Hayesy-B. We're
Yes.
3-0 by dinner. 3-0
Dude,
by
it's
dinner.
tied. Like, it's tied. So we take the lead on the Sunday night. Our Bengals minus 3.5 in New York against the Giants. Where are we at, Els, brother?
Yeah, this is an absolute cupcake game. I'll be honest. This one's a layup. This is big on the Cincinnati Bengals.
There we go.
All right.
Totally
We're
on the
Bengals.
Cincinnati. Hey, look,
We're on the
I think we
Bengals.
can take a page out of O's playbook here, right? Like, this is one of those big picture games where you look at it and you're like, how can I not roll with Burrow in prime time against Danny Dimes? How can we not do that? You
No
know what I
Malik
mean?
Neighbors, too. He's out again.
No Malik Neighbors. Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be missing as well. So I don't know who's going to rush the passer. He's one of their best. So Burrow have all time out there to cook. Him and Jamar Chase, they're finding that groove there after he missed the whole offseason, and then finally he's back, had a big game. I think that offense is going to erupt. Defensively, but the
They
Giants
stink
aren't a good
defensively.
offense.
Yeah.
So I think they can win this game by a touchdown. I like the Bengals.
I agree with that logic. I like the Bengals, too. We're on the favorites, minus 3.5. All right. Now it's go time. The Monday Nighter. Thanksgiving Monday up here. Bills laying 2.5 in New York against the Jets. Luke, who do you like and why?
Part C.
Yes.
The Jets are about to walk in here and absolutely dominate the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, baby, yes.
Vintage Aaron Rodgers moment. Everybody's on him. He said he was immunized and led everyone to believe that it was vaccinated. He's coming back with a chip on his shoulder. This guy has set us all up. He's got Rob Saleh fired. Woody Johnson calls him every day, and he's going to say, Woody, watch me absolutely cook this Buffalo team. Take control of the division. All is well in Aaron Rodgers land. Here we go. I'm telling you right now, prime time, Aaron's going to be out here. They got a new play caller. Buffalo's defense is badly banged up, and they're thin to begin with. The secondary is weak. Aaron's going to be slinging that ball around, and I'm going to hear it from Alsbro. I'm going to hear it from the Bills fans. I'm going to hear it from Hayes. And you and me are going to be giggling as this man is consistently connecting with Garrett Wilson for touchdowns. And I can't wait because I honestly believe the Cincy game's going to be a bit tough. But if Daniel Jones can harness his inner Elway that he pulled off against the Seahawks, we have an immaculate weekend coming up, and this thing's going to get ugly quickly. We're going with the Jets. I'm feeling great about it.
I love that you still believe in Aaron
I
Rodgers.
love if you can tell that we just have the stones to kind of figure out what's going to go down here. It's a pro athlete move all day long, and we will be up big time on Thanksgiving Day.
Rodgers
Praying
doesn't
for a
have it
Thanksgiving
anymore, man.
miracle.
Yeah.
You're praying for that. A Thanksgiving miracle for you guys
Yeah,
this weekend.
Not happening.
Well,
Rodgers
here's
doesn't
the
have it,
question.
man.
Rodgers doesn't have it, blah, blah, blah. You look at these games. What about the Jets' defense? They've been great.
Yeah.
They've been great.
And they just fired the
You're
guy
gonna
who's
sit
in
here
charge
and
of it
tell
all.
me- You're going to sit here and tell me that all of a sudden out of nowhere, Josh Allen, who had the worst completion percentage in, I believe, the last millennium, while attempting 25 passes or more last week, is going to turn the page and be like, hey, I'm going to rip this defense apart, which nobody's been able to do, and Aaron's not going to be able to manufacture 21, 24 points, because that's all it should take, at least to cover the spread.
It could be,
This
but I'm
might
a
be the
believer
biggest
in
lineup of all time.
I'm a believer in Josh Allen, man. He's not going to do it 3 weeks in a row.
Bounce
No
back.
chance he's doing it 3 weeks in a row. All right, boys. This is monumental.
Sir.
Hayes and Bro, we
big
cruise
week.
past these clowns this weekend, Al's brother, and we
Big
do
week.
not look back.
I
love
can't
it.
wait.
The Thanksgiving miracle this weekend. It's going to be a thing of beauty. All right, boys. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll catch you guys on the group chat.
Absolutely,
Talk
fellas.
soon.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
You got it. There's Luke Willson and Al's brother. All right, best bet still to come. Brought to you by FanDuel and Dear Hayesy-B next.
You
Fridays brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. From tip-offs to tie bites and puck drops to pizza, BP's elite lineup of apps, wings, and ice-cold beers always dialed in for game time. Hustle in your local BP tonight. Best bets later in the hour, but it's a Friday going into a long weekend, and people need our help. Are you guys ready for Dear Hayesy-B?
Yes, let's do it.
Insight, the ability to see and understand why you do the things you do.
Dear Hayesy-B.
We're going to go down there and have a donkey barbecue, and I'm going to furnish the ass, right?
You don't want to hide a Mars bar in your sleeping bag when there's a bear outside the tent.
All right, boys. Many DMs saying thank you for all the help and assistance. And Hazy, with your experience at colleges, I have a feeling, I think you're too cool of a guy to get dumped yourself on Thanksgiving, but I think you know of it and know people that have had it happen to them, correct?
Yeah, it's world famous, man. The turkey dump, that's what they call it.
Yeah, because why don't you explain what the turkey dump is for someone who's unfamiliar?
Okay. High school sweethearts, dating through grade 12, into the summer. One of them goes to school somewhere else. The other goes to school somewhere else or stays home.
Especially when it's like first year, it's the new experience.
Always
of going
first year. Always first year. Someone's in Montreal, someone's in Halifax, and it's like, we're coming back to Toronto for Thanksgiving. Haven't seen you in 5 weeks. Wonder how life is wherever you happen to be.
Oh.
Someone gets home, really excited. The other person's waiting. And
they've already found somebody else.
They found somebody else in the and they realize the next 4 years we're not going to be together. This isn't going to work. They call that the turkey dump. World famous, heartbreaking stuff.
That leads us to number one. Hazy, I'd like you to go first.
Okay.
I go to school in Guelph. Sorry, Dear Hayesy-B. I go to school in Guelph and my girlfriend goes to school in London. Haven't seen her since we went to school at Labor Day. I really want to see her this weekend, but she said she's busy Saturday, Sunday, and can see me for coffee right before she goes back on Monday.
Oh, no.
What's the Jerry's on a turkey dump? Daniel and Ajax.
Unfortunately, Daniel,
it's 100%.
It's 100%. It's sickening to say that, but if the Saturday Sunday isn't like, I can't wait to see you, we'll find a way to make this work, and everyone's got different family plans. Like we said, it's a busy weekend, but I can see you right before I go back. That is 100% a turkey dump. You're done. She's got someone else.
She texted you that lying beside her new man.
Unfortunately, that's probably accurate.
Yeah.
It's probably accurate that, and he made that. The boyfriend could be going back to his hometown doing the same thing.
He was like, who are you texting? She's like, I'm just gassing this loser. Don't worry. That is what is going down. You have to have the stones to say, you got to drive to her house and say, okay, what is it?
You got to. Here's what you have to do.
No, that's what you do, Hayes. You drive to her house and say, what is it? You're going to gas me? Let's just.
The confrontation is probably unnecessary. I think what you do is force the hand on a Saturday or Sunday meetup. And say, listen, if you can't get together Saturday or Sunday, I'm sniffing something out here. I'm not available Monday. What's it going to be? And she may just end up texting you and saying, honestly, it's just a turkey dump. I'm out. We're out. You can't change it.
Dude, you can't.
It's over.
You can't type that kind of a breakup.
No, but nowadays there's phones. You FaceTime.
FaceTime the dump.
That's a face-to-face now. It's you FaceTime and say,
that's right,
on the Friday, and go, you know what, like, we're both going to head our different ways. Let's stay friends, all of that type of stuff. I'm going out with my buddies. Stay in touch. All the best to you. Take care.
Yeah.
That's what you
do. It's over,
do.
right, Noodles? Like, you got to sniff that one out.
I think, I mean, the fact that she is going to see him on her way out of town for a coffee, like there's no physicality, there's no, there's nothing. That's a hug and a kiss goodbye saying, best of luck to you. It might be a handshake.
Maybe a fax on the way out, though. Maybe she buys him a coffee at a minimum.
Well, I mean,
maybe
that
it's
is
a coffee.
What did the Oilers do to? Was it to Mac?
Fax special on the way out. Skype makes it easier to deal with.
Yeah. Well.
Yes. That's a venti with multiple shots of espresso.
Yes.
And you're happy. At the minimum, that's the least you can do. But brace for it, pal. You're done.
I think it's
over.
pretty clear. It's pretty clear that you were done. Dear Hayesy-B, I have a serious conundrum on my hands at work. My boss thinks he's great my boss thinks he's this great sports guy, but in reality he's an absolute mush when it comes to gambling, and he wants to start taking action with me, and I know I'm going to take him to the cleaners. Knowing he's my boss, how should I handle this? Brandon and Creemore. I'll tell you first off right now, you do not even get involved with this cat at all.
You can't.
No,
that
dude.
is the truth. But do you know how enticing it is to, like, if you love sports and if you're into gambling and you know there's a guy that is just an ATM machine, it's so enticing.
But if it was golf, and if this guy had some kind of vanity cap in golf and you took him golfing and rinsed him every week, it would be like, hand it over, pal.
Right.
But this, for some reason, it hits, Hayes, you know this, it hits different.
Yes, it does. You can't do it. You have to turn it down. You have to say, I'm not into it. Or, here's how you get around it. Say, why don't we pair up and we'll take on the books? That's your play. And let him take some credit, make sure everything works out, make sure you push your information. You can't let him have the hammer of this guy's a mush. Like, if he can't pick a winner for the life of him, you don't want to be dumping money into that. But you cannot start down that road, because if this guy is just losing and he's going to get a couple of winners. It happens, right? Especially if you're betting football spreads, he's going to win. He's going to win some, but that's a dangerous game to play, man. You got to dance away from that. Have to.
Steer clear. There's
Can't
nothing positive can come out of that.
Right.
Nothing.
And you're right. Poker, it's a little different because there's some, strategy to it. Golf's a different story. Hey, tell me your cap and we'll play. And if the caps are dialed in over the course of 100 rounds, someone's going to probably win 50, the other one will win 50. But this kind of stuff, run for your life. Don't do it. Can't do it. All right, what else we got?
I just had one DM to me, and he said, this probably won't go to air, but this legit happens to me. He said, oh, dog, we meet for Thanksgiving at my grandma's house just north of Bradford every year. It's a small, old-school house with thin walls, those wood-paneled walls. Every year you mentioned your dad, when his fork hit the plate, he would leave. Well, my Uncle Daryl goes to the powder room that is basically tiny and peels the paint off the walls. I'm 19 now. I'm old enough, aren't I, to say something to him, to say, wait till you get home.
Yes. I think that's reasonable. Unless the guy's got a 3-hour trip back to Niagara Falls.
Do people not know that you have to absolutely stay clear of a powder room? It is no place for any type of business.
That's where you ask for an exception and say, can I take this upstairs? Is it okay if I go upstairs?
I don't think you need permission to go upstairs.
Well, you do need permission. You're not going in the master bedroom.
You don't. What the hell could be in a bathroom upstairs that's so important that you just couldn't put eyes on it? You'd want this Daryl cat like wandering around a powder room after a Thanksgiving feed bag? The name alone, I would throw him out of the house as soon as he put his fork down.
Yeah, you do not allow him upstairs in the house, though. This is a guy that's gonna end up.
Yeah, but those old school houses, they usually had like a 5-step up and then an alleyway or a hallway and a communal bathroom. I don't know.
You know what you do? You pull them aside, there's always a bathroom in the basement, and a lot of places have finished. Yeah.
But the question he has is, I'm 19 now. I think I'm old enough to tell him to knock it off because it's nonsense. I think you're old enough to say, hey, Daryl, knock it off.
Yeah, or take that action somewhere else, I guess.
Go home.
I don't know how to dance around
Go to the gas station around the corner. Going out for a dart.
That's a confrontation. Uncle Daryl, I'm going to need you to take that to the gas station around the corner.
Go and grab some potato chips for football.
Right.
Yeah.
That's code word. Dear Hayesy-B, with the Maple Leafs home opener on Saturday, I got invited to the game with a friend. But I've already told my family I've spent the whole evening with them for a Thanksgiving dinner. And they're already getting set for the festivities. The game starts at the same time as dinner. Do I ask to be excused earlier for the game or stay with family for the night? Need your help, boys.
This is particularly tough because it's not a playoff game. Most families for playoff games, it's accepted. Of course you're going to the game. You got tickets to a game, like Game 7 or something, you're going to that game.
Yeah.
But this is a home opener, so it is different from another regular season game, right? Like, it's a pretty cool game. You got Sid at home. How many more times are you going to see Sidney Crosby play at Scotiabank Arena? That's
true.
the line you drop, right? Is, hey, I love the Leafs. I got invited late. I'm going to stop by for a couple hours. You do the early arrival, hang out until 5:30. I don't know if they're in the city or not. Get out of there and get down to the game.
Yeah, you can double dip there.
I think you can double dip this bad boy for sure. You missed the meal, so be it. You were there for the appies. Bring a nice bottle of wine.
Bring dessert.
Exactly.
Like just drop a pie off and be like, hey, you know what, you guys should know I'm going to the game.
Guys, unless you're talking about hazy, like you guys both have little kids, unless you're talking about little kids stuff, don't you find over the years the importance of someone being there? It's like, remember when I was little, it's like, oh, so-and-so is not here. Now it's like, there's an email. I won't be there. It's like nobody cares anymore. Go to the game and screw it.
Well,
just go to the game.
Yeah, I hear you. Again, the fabric of society and everyone trying to get together and stuff.
You honestly think anyone really cares if you don't show up to Thanksgiving? I personally don't. What?
Especially on the other side, I'm the last one invited. Like if I'm not there, nobody is like, hey, where's this guy? Gotta have him here. Like I hear what you're saying.
You mean if your wife's had Thanksgiving and you didn't show up, nobody would be like, where's Brian?
Well, I mean, it would be a thing for sure. Like where obviously you have to have an explanation.
What if you were in the basement just watching games? And
right, that's
up?
extreme. Right, like that. Obviously, you got to have an explanation. What I'm saying is, the party will go on. The kids will be there. It's exciting stuff. I'd rather be there, but if you're at the Leaf game, that's a pretty cool substitute. I mean, come on, it's opening night.
And everyone would love to be at the Leaf game. So if somebody has that opportunity, you say go have fun and enjoy it.
Take it and have a great time. Take it and have a great time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
There you go.
I think you should go.
Good stuff. All right, what do we have here? How about this read? Got any Taylor Swift fans in your life? I got a few. But we've got a way for you to be a hero. iHeartRadio's 13 Days of Taylor Swift starts Wednesday. It's your chance to win 4 tickets to the Eras Tour right here in Toronto. So to enter, all you have to do is download the iHeartRadio app and listen to TSN 1050 for 13 minutes a day. Plus, we're throwing in a 2-night stay at the Sheridan Center, Toronto, and $1,000 spending money. Be a legend. Head to tsn1050.ca for all your info. There you go. That's one where I don't think a family party is going to come into conflict, right? You say you're going to see Taylor Swift. Well, we really would like you to be at the house. You know, we had this planned.
Too bad.
I don't think so. See you later.
Yeah,
right.
we cancel Christmas for her. Some people would.
A lot of people would. I know my kids would.
Yeah.
Like 100%. We're going to Taylor Swift. All right, we'll come back with our best bets and wrap up what's been a busy week. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Looking at a 4-pack of games this weekend. Bucks laying 3.5 in New Orleans. New Orleans is not a very good team, and now their starting quarterback is injured and out. I like where the Bucks are at. I like where Baker Mayfield is at. I like the Bucks. Give me the Bucks laying 3.5. Chargers laying 3 at the Broncos. Again, in the division, I'll take the better team, short odds. I like the Chargers here, -3 at the Broncos. Ravens, big. Jaden Daniels has been unbelievable. I think this is where he finally stops. I think he'll pick it back up next week and continue to be a really good quarterback, and they'll be a good team. Ravens are humming. Ravens are one of the 2 or 3 best teams in football. I still believe that. I think they make a statement this weekend, and Bengals laying the points. So all favors. A lot of them on the road, 3 of the 4 on the road, but Bengals 3.5 in New York Sunday night. Those are your best bets powered by FanDuel. FanDuel is the home of popular parlays this NFL season. Please play responsibly. 18 plus, physically located in Ontario. Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend. Thanksgiving weekend, right? We got the Leafs are in action. We've got the Argos in action. We got baseball playoffs. Get everything cooking, man. It's going to be a great weekend.
Well, I mean, it's going to be – we're back, Tuesday, so there's going to be so much to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Lots to get to on Tuesday. Mail-in Fridays have been brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. From tip-offs to tie bites and puck drops to pizza, BP's elite lineup of apps, swings, and ice-cold beer is always dialed in for game time. Hustle into your local BP tonight. What a week it's been. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, web, podcast. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your long weekends. We're back Tuesday at
Uncle Daryl. You smarten up. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.